Hello, hello, and good. Welcome to another eXp Commercial Explained. My name is James Wong, eXp Commercial President. I'm here with Stephanie Gillison, Director of Growth, and we are so happy to share. We just came back from ICSC, the large retail shopping center. It was a great event. I think, Steph, there was a good amount, 23, 24. Who knows what the actual count was, but it was a big event.
It was
and
a
I know
lot.
it was
Yeah.
a lot, and we had such notoriety as we were at the brokers list. We were with Colliers, we were with all these different companies, learning, listening, reaching out to friends at different trade groups. Like I always have to get a CCIM shout out to Dave Schnitzer with the crew and other friends, right? Because we know we're all in one big commercial real estate world and we all pass leads and referrals. But Steph, I'd love for you to share a little before we get started, your experience and what you saw at ICSC.
Well, we saw a lot of great things, but, my favorite part was all the representation of who we have now affiliated with eXp Commercial. They're actually landing business and doing deals. Millions of dollars of commission we're racking up as we saw not even our senior advisors, but even our juniors, Jim, that have maybe been in this industry for as little as 4 weeks, making the investment, making the commitment, and attending ICSC because they're engaged, they're plugged in, and they're ready to set this industry on fire. And that's what I love the most about it. But also, too, the brand recognition, what we've done in the last year and a half of building. We've gone from what's eXp Commercial to, eXp Commercial, right? And so that's exciting as well, too, because we do have a lot of great talent that has joined us from all over, this industry and that have been in it. And, we're producing. We've got a lot of great, corporate accounts coming in. We've got a lot of cool stuff. I don't know how much we can say, so I'll stop there.
Yeah, well,
Right.
Steph, and that was, fun. Now that we're not eXp, who, we're a force to be reckoned with. We're a good
Yep.
partner. And, most people in commercial real estate, we do business with who we know. So building relationship, friendships, we just say you just wear a different jersey on.
Yeah.
If you get a deal, I didn't get a deal. And I know the next, our guest that's coming up, even when we're at that large national company, when we did best and final, we're like, okay, what did you do for best and final? What did you do? And we're like, oh, you beat me out. And then it's funny that the listing broker brought a client in over the weekend. And then we're like, oh, we all lose. So we'll all celebrate and have drinks together. But that's the camaraderie, the friendships at these large trade events where many people moved around, hugging, catching up with friends, sharing notes, and just doing business with people you like and know. And this is the excitement that what we bring to eXp Commercial. As Stephanie and I, we started it with just a website and it's been evolving through year one to year two. As we're doing commercial real estate, we started really boosting up our business opportunities, having Kevin Harrington. And for those that are going to be in the Florida, Orlando area, we have our eXp shareholders event coming up. Please come by to see Kevin Harrington and team speak. It is something you won't want to meet, but also seeing Stephanie, myself, and the team at shareholders in Orlando, June 19th through the 21st. Please come by. It is exciting. You can see it on our calendar of events. But also now we're going to build ancillary services. As we know, many of the big firms, how they got through a recession is having services like your capital markets, your finance, your asset facility management, valuation, and other corporate services. So, Steph, there's a lot of good things we're building. But, when it comes to it, you've seen this so early on, 4 years ago. And what made you say, wow, and why did you come over?
Jim, it's simple. I was my own independent brokerage owner. And I think, at a certain time in life, we just wake up and we realize there's got to be a better way to scale. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to keep investing millions of dollars trying to build a company that can't keep up with all the fast changes that happen in this market. And, to be ahead of the times, but being that independent broker owner, I was the liable one. I was the bank, so to speak. I was the innovator. I was the trainer. It's noise a lot of times, right? And so what I saw in the opportunity with eXp was to not lose my brokerage, but bring it bring it and put it on a much larger platform that I didn't have time or the wherewithal to even build, right? And to be able to take that business and scale it across the United States. I love that I can look at my team who's doing great transactions all over this country and other countries being able to do that. We couldn't have pulled that off as an independent brokerage, but eXp makes this possible because we are that one brokerage. We're not independently owned and operated franchised silos like all the other brands. And that's what's so important here, because that typical franchise might share a national name, Jim, but they don't have the global collaboration. And that's what this company is all about. And that's why, us being able to have the ability to connect with whoever, wherever. We built this company, Jim, for 18 months and had never even shooken each other's hands. Who can say that?
It was exciting, when we got to meet each other, in Dallas the first time, right? That we knew, and I always say, I know when you're kicking me under the table because I could see your virtual leg kicking me. But that's the exciting thing, and we did say, because many of us have been around different market cycles, right? That we understand, and how we're building the company, being lean and mean, right? Being virtual without all these overhead, without being franchised or siloed, that this is one big company, not only in the US, where we have the opportunity as with portability, but also international, getting businesses coming from around the world with Michael Valdez and Megan Kelly and the whole global team. I know they did their road trip, is putting it all together to create these opportunities as an agent, as a broker, as a team coming over, so you can plug in and do all the great things of running a business and not all the liability. Because when you and I started the company, and I said I was already retired back in the 2006 time, and then when the market happened in residential in 2007, and then when 2009 hit after the Bear Stearns Lehman Brothers, boy, the whole world changed for many of us, and that's why. With this company, and we will share more of how to help people get through recessions, build a stronger business, build connections and relationship. We hope people will build with our brand, but there's ways that you can connect and be a part of the entire ecosystem of company, as we do our virtual symposium event to show people how they can network around the world. But Steph, you know what? What is the question you always ask everyone?
I simply asked, what did you pay your broker last year? Or what have you paid your broker since January 1? Because that number every single time, I do Zooms all day long, and I can't hide the look on my face when I hear these 6-figure splits that they're paying to the brokerage. It's absolutely crazy and ridiculous. We as brokers and as agents, we build these relationships. These are our clients. Why hand over half, or I don't care, why hand over anything more than $20,000 to your brokerage, right? Because that's all we're taking here. It's $20K. Once you've made $100,000 in GCI, you are capped. You're not going to pay us anymore until your anniversary year. It's simple math, people. And as we go through these transitions and what's happening in the market, right? Lots of opportunities. These are the time of opportunities, but it's also the time where you want to save your money. So why hand it off to somebody who's not doing anything for you? That's my biggest question. And Jim, you and I both have these conversations, and it's a no-brainer when they understand it, because these agents know that they're the ones building the client reputation. And then I challenge them, look, if you're concerned about it, pick up the phone, call your top 5 clients, call your top 10, and ask them, do they care if you move your license? They don't care. They don't care. They never do.
Absolutely right. It is you, the relationship, right? Maybe in the beginning, you needed that confidence builder with the large company and maybe the training, but there's a certain point where you become, and that it's the crossroad, whether you be career at the company, which there's no problem, it's just a different split, or you start your own company like many people do, right? They want to build their brand, they want to build their brand, their own company, or plug into a company like ours where we're a large platform that now you could be part of it without doing a lot of the work, right, Steph? Without going to deposition, without answering all the questions, without renegotiating all these tools that we get, for $250, and you and I are still discussing and going over and talking to more groups about what other tools we can get. And we spent, the whole, before we even start eXp, what core tools can we get? And we're still looking at all the tools, because it's not just the transaction, it's leasing, it's business ops. Now it's with capital markets or asset management, but how do we integrate all of these tools together. But Steph, I love to even say this with AIR, when you talk to AIR, what did they tell you about eXp?
Well, I reached out to AIR because they had 7 states that they had, contracts and forms for pretty much anything you could ever come about with commercial real estate transactions. And I simply asked them, why aren't you in all 50 states? They said it took 19 years to get the 7 states that they had. And I'm like, listen, we know how to open a brokerage in all 50 states. We're in the process of doing that now. We have relationships with attorneys in each of these states. Let's get this done. And so together we partnered with AIR, which is why now they can sell all 50 states for AIR forms. But more importantly, our agents receive it. They don't have to pay that subscription to get those forms. And that comes in so handy, especially when we are a company, Jim, that honors portability, license portability, and what that means. We're not territorial. We want to abide by the law, but we want to give all agents the opportunity to represent their client where license portability is in place, which is pretty much all of the United States of America, but 7 states.
Exactly. And that's the exciting thing, that everything we're building is not only building different specialty or product type specialists, not only adding a lot of the capital markets, finance, property management, going sometimes granular into tax reassessments, how much you're spending for different expenses, but we're collecting the data. We're starting to build our database to get more and more information internally so we can make better decisions as a company to give our agents, more real-time information of how to get better. So, these things helps our company make good decisions, help our agents become stronger so you can talk to your clients when you're putting a proposal package, knowing what the rental rates, knowing what the tax rates you should pay for your building, whether it's over, under. So now we're trying to automate plugging in these numbers so you could tell your client, you know what, you should do a tax reassessment. You may be paying too much in property casualty. You could raise your rents. And I know the next guest, we had to do it the old-fashioned way. I was running around taking pictures with, shoot. I think we didn't even have digital cameras back then when I first started. I had to use something else.
And I was Polaroids, Jim.
I was just taking things down. It was crazy. But, these are the things, how technology is evolving, how we have to integrate all these techs into our system to help each one of our agents almost be bionic and get more powerful by being with their knowledge in their mind and their brain, but their body and strength to be stronger. And that's the exciting thing, Steph, you and I are doing with all these tech. But you know what? Why do we all want to be in this business? It's that passive residual income.
Absolutely, Jim. And, it's not just the value prop of a 20K cap and a $250 a month for over $4,000 worth of technology tools, which is what most people pay for those tools, is over $4,000 a month. When I brought my company over, I saved $143,000 in overhead just like that, because I no longer had to pay these big prices to get large data and all those things necessary to be, relevant in this industry. But also, too, a way for us to truly be rewarded for building a company, right? We transact, we earn stock. We bring people over, we earn stock. I mean, Jim, you built a lot of other people's companies, right? What did you get? A plaque? Or
I got a plaque, or I got liability, or a nice pat on the back, or maybe a dinner or drink. But this is the thing we always ask. And back in the day, we were always saying you had to buy buildings, you had to create other companies for passive income, right? And that's great. But there is liability when you set up companies, or there's responsibilities here. Doing what you do as a broker, and you can always expand it in other ways by just sharing our eXp commercial model or eXp model. You make passive income. When they produce, you get shares of stock. This is doing no more than what you would do normally anywhere you're at, no matter the big firm, the small firm, independent firm. You just want to share whatever's working with friends, especially, and teach people what is going and what works. But I think, Steph, just by doing what we're doing, and we talk to a lot of friends and big firms that, why did you join and why did you do commercial real estate, right? To make money, to be a principal, to make passive income. And now this can come in so many different ways as we want to be more efficient with our time. It is important. But our weekly trainings, our trainings with all our new education with new agents, and I know you'll go into that, but also our product type specialists. There are so many things and so many groups, as many of us from the large companies, we stay in our own discipline. We like to be an expert. But because we're an expert, we know where to use our time to pass out leads and referrals to other departments and other people because we want to stay in our lane of being that expert in the market. And Steph, you and I know, without good health, it's very tough. And with the changing markets, people are making decisions. I know you and I lived through a couple recessions, and these are tough decisions with, especially with healthcare.
Well, and I love it too, Jim, because you can reach out to any eXp commercial licensee that has our health insurance, and they'll brag and sell it to you because basically they're saving thousands upon thousands of dollars for the insurance. And so we tell people to check it out. This is a company that we build solutions so that you as an agent or broker can be more productive and scale and grow in the business. And because of us operating in this metaverse is why we're able to get so much of it done. All of our trainings are happening in here. Junior agents that have this desire to learn and be successful in commercial real estate, all is happening right here. Everything, the way we're able to collaborate and bring people together, that's the level of how we scale. We're not in that silo. And that's what's so important about operating in this metaverse, Jim. I mean, what we've been able to expand to and to be able to educate over 20,000 agents across this nation, and actually 17, 18 different countries, by teaching them what commercial real estate is all about because of this metaverse. It's tremendous what we're able to do, but also having the plug-in with Workplace, billions of dollars worth of referrals. I absolutely love the fact, eXp Commercial is a separate brokerage, but we've got this great sister company, eXp Realty. 83,000, am I off on that number? Is it 84 now? I don't even know. Of residential agents that do $135 billion worth of house sales. And we stand there and we teach them, hey, call your sphere back and ask them if they have commercial needs, and then get referral fees and refer that business to an eXp commercial licensee. You couldn't pay to plug into that level of a network. And that's what I love, is that any eXp commercial licensee will tell you their business has scaled drastically because of the immediate network they plug into, being able to be in Workplace with eXp Realty agents that have a book of business that needs commercial servicing. It's huge, Jim. No other company is ever going to be able to create anything like this ever.
Well, and exactly right. Many people that just came over, they didn't get referrals from whether it's a franchise company, a residential company, commercial, because of the split. You almost had to double end everything. But here, because there's so many opportunities, the financial model, because most of our commercial agents, they cap on the first or second deal, that they can be more generous with the junior brokers, with other brokers within the company, to be more efficient and just pass out lead through referrals. So that's one of the things that, we hear over and over and over again, not only from residential, sending it to commercial, but also with commercial agents passing leads and referrals. But one thing is, we have a heart, right, Steph? We like to give back and build homes. That's why eXp Commercial, with eXp Realty, they partnered with New Story to build homes in Mexico. So this is really important for those that are doing well, can give, can help out, $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever you can give, it's so important. So if you can scan it, and even if you can't give, scan it, learn about it, maybe you can send it to somebody else, because it is important to share and give back, and we hope, Steph, that maybe with the commercial team, because I know you're a developer, so this, it's really close to home, of why a home is so important for people. And, many of us, residential, commercial, but in real estate, right? Your home is where your family is. And there's just so many great things. So we encourage people to do it. Steph, would you like to talk about Kevin Harrington?
Hey, our shareholder summit's coming up in Orlando in just a couple weeks away, I believe now. And Kevin Harrington will be there. He's going to literally teach us about branding and how important it is for us to have our own brand and how we market that out. And, he building his brand is what landed him a Shark, being on Shark Tank in the first place. So it's a tremendous opportunity to not only hear him speak and learn, but to also shake his hand. And, Kevin is a giving man. I'm glad that he's there. He loves networking with people, and he is one of our biggest supporters. His entire team has joined eXp Commercial. So that's going to be a tremendous opportunity for anybody that can join us for that. And our symposium, Jim, we've got another one in our metaverse coming up September 19th through the 20th. Register with that QR code and invite other people to see what it is that eXp Commercial is all about in our metaverse. We always have tremendous speakers. our economic advisor, Casey Conway, obviously will be there, but so much great content to learn, whether it's cryptocurrency and how it relates to commercial purchasing or whatever the case might be, ESG, you name it, we have it. So, and a great opportunity. And then Jim, we're going to be hitting the road again here very soon with shareholders. There's so many different events. C5's coming up in August that we committed to yesterday. So we're excited about all of those things. So if you are at any of these events, make sure to look us up.
Well, and just keep watching, because there's going to be more and more events as we're trying to make eXp kind of the hub of commercial real estate, where you can find all this information, all these events, with all the different trade groups. And we're always learning of what we can add. And also, as we're one big commercial group, what other events are going on domestically, but pretty soon worldwide. We want to share, because we're having so much interest internationally of everyone wanting to know what we're doing and when we're going to expand into commercial there. But because we have the metaverse, we can always be in and showcase you we're going to do more with eXp Global, as we're going to talk about commercial real estate internationally, to let people understand and network with each other globally at the different countries we have open. So everyone, and it's open for everyone to come to our eXp commercial campus to network, get to know, build friendships internationally, and hopefully do a deal. But I love this step. And I always love somebody from my old company too.
I know.
Right? Because we have the badge of honor, but Randy Taylor, welcome to the family. And if you don't mind, introduce yourself to everyone.
Sure. Thank you, James. Stephanie, appreciate the invites. You had invited me previously, and again, I had the high quality problem of needing to do a walkthrough for a property. So glad
You're
I could
a producer.
make this.
We get it.
Business first. What can I say? Well, I appreciate the invite. And yes, as James explained, we have some similar backgrounds coming over most recently from Marcus and Millichap as a multifamily investment sales broker. Been in commercial real estate my entire career, about 24 years, been licensed, held a number of positions of market analyst with Grubb & Ellis back in the late 90s, corporate real estate asset manager with Bridgestone Firestone, and as well as brokerage work. And I do specialize in multifamily investment sales.
I love it, Randy. And I'm glad that you're on too, because, like so many, there was that one magical question that I was able to ask and say, well, Randy, what did you pay your broker last year? And I think, what was the answer? You could have bought a house with it? Something like that?
I could have bought a small house with what I gave the broker. So that was eye-opening.
Well, go ahead.
When you're at a 50-50 split up to $500,000, it's you're giving away a lot.
Randy, I'd love to understand, because, I wasn't in that position, in my career, because I owned my company, but what makes someone for 24 years stick with a 50-50 split?
I think the fear of losing business, losing relevancy, or competing with those firms, access to tools that you think you can't get on your own, and just maybe a little bit the discipline too, because we're independent contractors, and so you're kind of hiring a personal trainer when you get a managing broker. But if you have that discipline, you have access to the tools, and you realize that you're the business, not really the brand you're working under. And I think you realize that it was a little nerve-wracking to make the departure. It was so much less eventful than I had anticipated. I even had one client that was about to list a property. He says, "Great, you get to keep more of the commission. I'm happy for you."
See, that's awesome.
Some people said, "I don't care."
So Randy, as we all came from the great shop where we learned to have still a lot of good friends in the industry that started there, or with our friends that were at Grubb, that Frank Knight gobbled them up. So way back in the day, what did you see now, as we've seen from the 90s to the 2000s, right? The changes in our industry. What made you make this shift? But also, what changes have you seen in the industry, and how, in a way, could people adapt, and why did you adapt finally to make this change for yourself?
I think increased access to data, even the big brokerage firms, they're really trying to become more virtual, but they still have this great overhead of high paid executives and brick and mortar real estate, which we're paying for, and there's not a lot of benefit to that. I think going through COVID was also an eye opener, seeing people not in the office at all, operating and still at that split, which was just mind numbing. Why that would continue. So, I mean, there's value in these good firms. I'm not going to knock the big houses, but if you have the discipline and you can see the vision, it's a great opportunity, I think. And the decision came quickly. Truth be told, my wife was interested in getting licensed. She says, "You've been in real estate for so many years. Maybe I'll get my license." I said, "Well, maybe you can put it with a residential firm." I looked up eXp Realty, and then I looked at the commercial division. I'm like, really? Access to a lot of the same tools. I'm starting to see some familiar faces, even from the same firm. And I made the jump pretty quickly. It was kind of a no-brainer.
But Randy, now that you've been in, and it hasn't been a long time, maybe what, 3 months, maybe, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 months. So you've had some time to get your feet wet, learn, this metaverse and learn these tools that we're providing for the 250. Why don't you just share your opinion of what that is?
I think it's a great value. I think a lot of people feel that they just can't live without a particular data source. And trust me, it's not always as good as you think. And for my product specialty too, there is a lot of gaps and inconsistencies in the data that we're giving to that company that's simply reselling it back to us. So I think Reonomy and enriched data are good proprietary resources that eXp has that are more than adequate to build your database. And you have to build your database, become the specialist like James and I know. And that provides me adequate tools to build a property database, contacts, ownership. And the CRM and build out is just an industry leading tool that a lot of other firms are using as well on the back end. So I think that's a great resource.
So Randy, now that you're here, 3 months, understanding, been with all the firms, what is now your future? What was your plans, the big audacious vision that you could create on this platform? Because I'm sure you were thinking before, these other firms siloed you, they kept you in a box or in a lane. They said we can do this or that, and you couldn't. So what now that you're free? What can you do on our platform now?
Well, there weren't territories delineated, but there obviously were some, very established folks in the office that you were kind of off the record told to kind of steer away from certain target markets and things, which, you need to be free to go into whatever market you like. I think I had been with previous firms and having the lack of, I had zero referrals from the company, and not that you can live on those. I mean, it helps. You've got to build your own business, but to have some access to referrals, I think helps. And having that from a residential division, as well as all the quality partners that we have, I like that we have more of a complete to be more of a complete resource through the ownership cycle for owners too. When you're just selling, they know you're calling because you want to sell. Of course, they can buy, sell, hold, refinance, but during that hold period, there's so many gaps that I think all the other firms have. I can tell you, I personally have used JCT Americas, that's a partner of ours already, for a 1031 exchange, O'Connor for cost segregation and property tax reduction, Com Loans for financing and refinancing. And I have a lot of folks that own multifamily property in the suburbs that they're exiting owning property. So that can be a hurdle because they don't want to pay property capital gains tax, nor do they want to manage property any longer. Well, I see a partnership that we have with Fortitude Investment Groups with a Delaware statutory trust, so they can do a 1031 exchange and have the same tax benefits of owning real estate but not having the responsibility. So that is I've been looking for as a good resource for that pent up inventory that I think I can additionally move. So that's been helpful, and it doesn't hurt that we get some residual income from those partners as well.
Absolutely. Well, that's what it's all about. How do we win, right? I mean, because here's what I love about it, and Jim and I are always thinking this way. If a transaction's going to take a while, what can we do in the interim to build relationships that bring other value to you all to earn that income, right? And that's what we've done with every ancillary service out there, and anybody that reaches out to us. That's what we set forth. Is this going to help our agents be more successful? And is this going to bring them value? And is this going to make them money? That's what it's about.
Well, it helps you maintain contact through that ownership cycle, and you're bringing real value. I think a lot of people, you go through the cycle of contacting these owners 5 to 6 times a year. You can only give them so many reports and market data. At the end of the day, they have particular needs that which I know asset management we're looking into as well, which I personally have a great need for. A lot of out-of-town buyers tend to be the highest bidders for these properties. They need and are required by the lenders to have property managers. So that's a daily need that I have. So I see that we're working on forming some partnerships for that nationwide. So that's of great value. And a lot of other firms just, don't offer that.
And Randy, I'm glad you brought it up, because that's why, with eXp, we encourage people to join trade organizations like Stephanie and I were at ICSC. You build relationship within that niche with CCIM, with SIOR, with MAI, with IREM, right, with our CPM's property man. And we're trying to bring them into one, help them share their organizations with everyone, but also, teach and train our people, but open it to anyone else. So there are educations and programs that people can use our metaverse to network with each other. We'd love for them to join us, but by using our services, understanding it is always that first step, right, of introduction. But if we can help our agents in our world connect with other people, as we just bring more people by putting all these events, being at these live events, because we do know in the beginning, you got to have these relationships. You got to show and hang out, have dinner together, have drinks together to catch up. It is so important. But after that, you don't have to see each other. I saw some people 15 years later, that I haven't seen, but that was still like, it was almost yesterday when we were catching up with our old M&M days and everything. And it was fun, right? And we know we're different companies, but it was still fun sharing and connecting and just talking shop with each other, right? I mean, that's the fun thing. So, looking at these events that we're doing, I mean, how excited are you to now hopefully plug in and get involved, like with all the different trade organizations? And can you say maybe the importance of not only virtually, but some of these physical meetings and these product specialty meetings that we need to show up to?
Well, you guys must have your running shoes on daily. I see you at so many events. I like to see that there's a presence. You have to be relevant. I really like that we have hired a very good resource too of Casey Conway to have a good economic advisor, because it helps guide us, and the more educated we are to advise our clients, and it gives us, visibility and relevance. I think there can be a stigma sometimes in the commercial industry if there's any residential affiliation. But if you look, this is James, you've come out of a commercial environment, and so it's not just, we didn't just hang a commercial sign. It's true homegrown commercial expertise, and it doesn't hurt that we have such a large residential organization that I think helps financially and in other ways too, to give us resources we couldn't have otherwise.
Well, this is awesome, Randy. I'm so glad that you, made the switch, saw the opportunity, and hey, I'm just glad that this year you will be able to buy that additional home, because you won't be giving six figures to your brokerage. There's no need to, right? So this is going to be amazing. And anybody that has multifamily opportunities, reach out to Randy. He services Chicago, Illinois. Randy, put your information down in the chat. And if you guys are just, if people are just interested in, look, making a transition is, cumbersome a little bit, but it's not as hard as you would think, like you stated. And so I encourage a lot of people to reach out to you and have that conversation. Jim?
And Randy, we're really happy, you're part of the family, part of the team, because you're right. Each part of strong name brand people who've been in the industry builds our company, builds our reputation. And Steph and Art, we always say we're janitors. We do whatever it takes, because our job is to serve you and watch and monitor the company to make sure what are the pain points, what can we fix, what can we improve on. And it's that constant improvement, efficiencies, collaborating with each other to make each of our agents, better and build a culture. And I think we love some of the companies we came from to learn the basics, right? But then later on, we wanted the culture of the good people, the teams, people we can work with, that we can trust, that they're going to be honest and close the deal. If it's off market, you got your own buyer, got that, right? And all these good things. And I think surrounding ourselves by keeping a good company culture is how we're building. And I believe you already see this, the brand name and all the major MSAs that were coming up, and now the secondary, tertiary, and international, right? We're having people speak out. So it is exciting with all of us building this company together. So we are excited, and we hope everyone can make it to shareholders to see Stephanie, myself, many other commercial agents, because this is our one company. And why Stephanie and I are doing this is because we love commercial real estate. We love to give back. We love to help people. And we love to try to make a difference so people can also improve and be at a place where you feel accepted and your contributions are acknowledged. So anytime there's an award, Randy, let us know, because we like to promote, just like we did with Brittany and others. And oh, Stephanie's going to win Women Influencer for Globe Street. So that's a big one in Utah. So, you know, Steph, hey, before we close out, toot your own horn, kind of talk about that.
No. No, you know what, Jim, I tell you what, though, that I will say this for a moment, you know, everything we do here at this company, I don't do it for a job. Anybody that knows me knows I don't need a job. I do this because we are on this mission. And I am very, very thankful that Jim and the team nominated me to Globe Street's Woman of Influence, because otherwise I wouldn't have won. So thank you, team, and Bailey and Bernard and everybody, Diana behind the scenes, everybody in operations. But, you know, that is what we're doing here. Is really my goal in life is to change this industry, but also, you know, I've worked with the boys my entire career, and I love you boys, but you know what? It's fun sometimes when there's another woman on the call. So, you know, I want women to know that this is a career that, you know, you can absolutely excel at, and all of us can. So it's a tremendous opportunity, and I'm very, very humbled about it. And I cannot wait to speak at Globe Street's Woman of Influence in July. So I'm excited. Thank you, Jim.
No problem. I got to promote and share, because we're always as strong and as weak as our weakest link. So we have to stay strong together, especially, this is the thing, as this time comes up, business is harder. Build your network, build your support. It's okay to ask for always help. As we just finished Mental Awareness Month, you know, it is tough. And for those that have been through a recession and tough times, build a network, build a support system, connect with a network to create opportunities, and we will survive together. So again, Stephanie, thank you for sharing. Randy, welcome to the family, and everyone have a